Welcome to this beginner's guide for the DJI Mini 2. This video is geared towards first time drone flyers, and we're going to be going over everything you need to know when you get your DJI Mini 2. Things like what's included in the Fly More combo, what type of memory card you need, how to activate your drone, and how to get ready for your first time flying. So before we get into the beginner's guide, I just want to quickly say, over 99.7% of you aren't subscribed. So if you're into all things drones and like drone related videos, please make sure you've hit the subscribe button and please make sure the notification bell's on so you don't miss any of my other videos. So in front of me here is the DJI Mini 2 Fly More combo. This is going to be a slightly longer video than usual because I'm going to cover everything you need to know in terms of setting up and flying your DJI Mini 2. But don't worry, down below I've put segments so you can skip to certain sections or rewind. And I recommend that you save this video to your watch list so that if you ever need a reminder of a certain aspect of flying your DJI Mini 2, you can easily find your way back to this video. And also, if you haven't bought the drone yet, make sure to save this video so when you do get the drone in hand, you're ready to go and learn as a beginner how to fly your DJI Mini 2. So when it comes to the DJI Mini 2, there are two packages, the basic package and the Fly More combo. The basic package comes with a drone, controller and one battery. The Fly More combo which we have here includes 2 extra batteries, so 3 total, and a charging hub and a few extra bits and pieces. This guide is for both, so whether you've got the basic package or the Fly More combo, this guide is for you. Let's first go over everything included in the box of the Fly More combo. I'm going to go into each item in depth. So here we have the controller. This is a new updated controller design for the Mini 2. The previous controller with the likes of the Mini had 2 flip out support arms at the bottom and the phone went in the bottom with 2 antennas at the top. In this model, the phone goes in the top and there are no antennas. It's a much improved design. It now has OcuSync, which is basically the transmission system. This is improved as the old Mini used a Wi-Fi transmission system, and the Wi-Fi transmission was prone to a few issues. It was prone to interference and disconnections. I personally had a load of them issues with the original DJI Air, and it didn't have as much range. OcuSync is much improved. It improves interference issues. You basically get none. And you get a much further range, up to 10 kilometers. Now, you're probably not going to fly your DJI Mini to 10 kilometers away, but it's nice to know that even when you're up to 2, 3, maybe 4 kilometers away, that you're well within the transmission range. So the control sticks are stored in the bottom of the controller, and they simply pop out and then you screw them in. And the top part lifts up, which is where the smartphone mounts. Here you have a function button, so you can do various tasks with this function button. Then you have a button to switch between photo and video mode quickly. Then you have a power button. Then you have a return to home and pause button. And here we have the flight mode switcher. So you have normal mode, which is for normal flying at moderate speed. You have cine mode, which allows you to fly much slower and smoother, basically getting cinematic shots. And then we have sport mode, which is the quickest mode for this drone and allows you to fly very quickly. Then at the bottom we have LED lights, and when you press the power button, it will show you on them LED lights how much charge is left in the controller. We also have a USB-C port for charging, and then we have the video record start or take a photo button. And then this wheel here allows you to move the gimbal, which is what takes the photos and videos, up and down. Lastly, we have the phone data cable. This is by default an iPhone connection. As mentioned, you have extra RC cables if you have a different phone. And to change these, all you simply do is you remove the current cable and then you find the one for your phone, for example, an Android device, and you simply re-push it back in at the top of the controller and connect to your phone. Then if you want to connect your phone, it's simply just a case of pulling up the top mount, sliding in your phone, and connecting the remote controller RC cable to your phone. So to turn on, it has a safety feature to stop the controller accidentally turning on in a bag, for example. and you use a double press, so it's a short press and then a long press until you hear the noise. If you want to power off the controller, it's the same, a short press and then a long press, and you'll see the LEDs fade down till it's off. So now we're taking a look at the drone. Now when you get it, it's going to be covered in stickers, so go ahead and remove them as I've done here. And the first thing I want to point out is this drone weighs 249 grams by design. This makes it an excellent choice for beginners or experienced pilots who want to fly in less restricted ways. So what do I mean by that? Because the drone is under 250 grams, it is an A1 class drone, so the drone laws are much more lax in terms of where you can fly it, and you can even fly this in built up areas as long as you're flying safely, something you can't do with much larger drones. So as mentioned, this makes it fantastic for a beginner, but also fantastic for experienced pilots who want to maybe get a city shot or a shot in areas where they can't use their larger drone. Not only that, but when folded up, the size is about the size of an iPhone, and that makes it amazing for travel. You can basically fit this drone in your pocket, but it fits very neatly into a bag, and you can take this drone on your traveling adventures to get them shots. So new with the Mini 2 comes a propeller holder. To take this off, all you do is unclip the button, and then you can simply remove the propeller holder. What the purpose of this propeller holder is it keeps the propellers nice and tightly compacted and protects them to the drone body, so when you're putting it in and out of things like bags, you don't accidentally bend or damage the delicate propellers. To unfold the drone, you simply open up the top arms first and then swing out the bottom arms. You can't do this the other way around. If you swing out the bottom arms first, the top arms of the drone will collide with the bottom arms and it simply won't open. To remove the gimbal guard, simply press the tab M and then remove the gimbal guard. You must do this before powering on, as the gimbal does a calibration check. Now looking at the bottom, if we press the power button, if you press it once, it will show you how much power is remaining in the battery. And then looking at the front, again, this is the front camera and the gimbal. So the gimbal is what keeps your camera shots smooth, and obviously the camera is what takes them shots. On the bottom we have two vision sensors, so downward facing sensors. These are used to help the drone locate itself when there's no GPS signal, and they're also used for downward obstacle avoidance. On the back we have an LED which helps you see your drone in the air, but it's also a button. A long press puts it into media share mode, and this allows you to link your phone to quickly download videos and photos from the drone without needing something like a card reader or even a computer handy. On the back we have a USB-C port for charging the battery directly if it's in the drone, something you'll need to do if you don't have the Fly More combo. And then next to that we have the memory card slot. Above that is the door to install the battery. So to install the battery you simply flip up the door, slide in a battery, and then close the door again. To remove the battery, it's the opposite, so you flip open the door, pull the battery out, and then close the door. So now let's install a memory card. For this drone, you need a UH, which stands for Ultra High Speed 1 card, and you need a speed class of 3 or above. Something like this SanDisk Extreme 128GB will work really well, and I find usually 128GB is more than enough for one day's flying. To insert the memory card, simply make sure the memory card graphic's up and push it into the slot. Now let's take a look at the batteries. The Fly More combo comes with a charging hub. It doesn't charge all three batteries at once, it does them one at a time, but it does this intelligently. It will always charge the battery that has the most power in it, so that if you need to get out flying quickly, it's not going to charge the battery which is going to take hours to charge. If, for example, you have a battery with 80% charge left, it will charge that first so that you can get one full battery fully charged and out the door as quickly as possible. You do not need all three batteries in to charge them. If, for example, you put one battery in, it will just charge that one battery. Now, when DJI ships the batteries, they're in what they call an inactive state, and to activate them, you simply must just charge them before use. So how do we charge them? You use the brick and the USB-C cable. You take the cable and plug it into the brick, and then you simply plug that into the charger. Now, there's a USB port on the charger, you may have noticed, and what this allows you to do is to use the charging hub as a power brick. So if you have batteries in the charging hub, you press the power button, and you can then use the USB-C port to charge something like your phone. So you're basically turning it into a mobile power brick. And this is what it looks like when you plug it in and it's charging. Now if you don't have the Fly More combo, you have to charge the batteries via the drone. So you insert the battery into the drone and then connect the USB-C charging cable to the drone. To charge the controller, use the same USB-C cable and you plug it into the controller. Then we have 2 spare controller joysticks. We also have a range of spare propellers for your DJI Mini 2 included in the Fly More combo. We also have a small mini screwdriver. This is used for removal and swapping out of the propellers on the DJI Mini 2. And then in the Fly More combo, we have this really great shoulder bag included. It allows you to carry your drone wherever you want to go. And this top pocket here is where you'll find all the accessories I've just shown you. Now that we've went over what's included in the box, let's get powered on and let's get ready for flight. Firstly, you need the DJI Fly app. You can download it from the Apple Store or Google Play. So the first time you fire up the app, there are some steps you will need to take. You'll first be asked to create a DJI account if this is your first time flying a drone on the DJI app. You'll either have to register or log in if you already have one, and then you'll need to go through a process of activating the drone. Lastly, you're more than likely going to need to do a firmware update on your drone and or controller. So connect your phone into the controller, power on your drone. You'll notice that the propellers make a noise and the gimbal does a calibration. This is normal and will happen every time you power on your drone. So once you've created an account, activated your drone, done the firmware updates, you're ready to go fly. With both the controller and the drone on, in the app, press the fly button. This takes you into the camera view, which is a live feed from your drone. Let's take a quick look around the app. There's no way in this video I have time to go over everything, and there are really some in-depth features of your drone, but this is going to be an overview of everything you need to know before your first flight. So at the top, there's a round circle, and this is the battery power. This shows you how much battery power you've got left, and if you click it, you'll get more information specific to the battery. Then next to it, you'll see a tiny picture of a satellite. This can range from 10 to 20, and it shows you how many GPS satellites you're connected to. More is obviously better, but something to be aware of is if you're flying indoors, you probably won't get any connection to any. Next to that is signal strength from the controller to the drone. This here indicates what mode you're in, and this is relative to what you have set in your controller. So if it's normal in your controller, it will show normal here, sport for sport, cine for cine. You get the point. Now at the top left, you may get a warning. One of the warnings you may get is orange. This basically means you're not connected to any satellites, so fly with care. Another error you might get, it might show up red and might show that you need to do a calibration. This will be a calibration for your compass, so simply just press that and follow the steps, and you'll probably need to do that if it's your first ever time flying the drone. On the left side, we have a takeoff button. Now you can either take off using the sticks, you can press them down and together, which will activate the props, and then press up to fly up. Or if you don't want to do that, you can use this takeoff button. It's automatic. It will lift the drone off a couple of feet off the ground, and then the drone will just hover where it is. On the bottom left, we have a map, and this can be handy to see where you are relative to yourself or on a map. And then in the right hand side, if in photo mode here, it will show you how many photos of space you have left in your memory card, and it will show you how many minutes of video you have left to take if you're in video mode. Now we have automatic and manual camera mode. As a beginner, I would just leave this to auto. If you're a bit of a camera geek and want to fiddle with things like the shutter speed or ISO, you can flip this into manual mode. Play button takes us into gallery, where we can look at clips which are cached that we have taken with our drone. And then we have a large red button. Now this is the record button in video mode or the take photo button in photo mode, or you can use the button on the controller to do this. So lastly, we have the 3 dots in the top right, and this takes you into your settings. Now this is quite an advanced area to go as a beginner, so I'm not going to go into everything, but I am going to go into a few things you should be aware of as a beginner. Although, again I stress, you'll probably not be in this menu much. So under the safety tab, we have the return to home altitude. The default is set at 100 meters. So why is it important to know this? Return to home happens when you lose signal to your drone, or something goes wrong, Or if you've lost sight of your drone by accident, you can simply press the return to home button and the drone will return to where you took it off from. This setting here is the altitude the drone will hover up to before it flies back to where you're at. So it's set at 100 meters, which is higher than most buildings, but if you're in a mountainous area or an area where there are high buildings, then make sure you set this higher so that the return to home will always fly over any obstacles which could be in the way. Next we have the compass calibration. As mentioned earlier, you will probably need to do this the first time you fly the drone, and it's a simple process. It will ask you to rotate the drone horizontally and vertically just so the compass can calibrate and get its bearing. Now let's look at the flying controls and the controller sticks used to move the drone. The right stick, forward back, will move the drone forwards or backwards. On the right stick, if you move it left and right, it will make the drone crab left or crab right, not rotate. It will simply move left or right. The left stick up and down makes the drone go up or down, and the left stick left or right makes the drone rotate left or right. If you play the Xbox or PlayStation or use any game controller, these sticks will feel relatively natural to you, although I recommend the first time you fly, you do it in a large open area, such as a football field. So briefly, again, the return to home function, if you trigger or lose signal, it will fly back to your home location. Now the home location is automatically set each time you take off, so the drone knows where to return to. At any time, if the drone's returning home, you can pause it by pressing the return to home button. So if it comes back within range and you can see it again and you're happy to take over and continue flying, just press the return to home button and it will pause the return to home feature. It's worth mentioning, if your battery gets critically low, the drone will automatically try to return home itself, although you'll get a warning telling you about this. Now if you're flying and you think you're going to crash or panic, just let go of the sticks and the drone will hover. Beginners sometimes don't know this, but the drone will hover itself without any control input. It will not fall out of the sky. So the last thing I want to show you is a really great feature of the DJI Mini 2 that allows you to quickly transfer photos and videos from the drone to your phone without the use of a computer to put the memory card into or a memory card accessory for your phone. You can simply do it wirelessly. So to do this, all you do is once the drone is on, is hold the button in the bottom for a few seconds until it makes a beep and flashes blue. This will signify that your drone is in media sharing mode. You will then get a notification that the drone wants to connect to your phone. So you simply hit connect. You'll join the Wi-Fi network of the drone. Then you'll get an option to view album, and then you'll be able to quickly sync any media, so photos or videos from your drone to your phone effortlessly. So we've looked at the basics of the DJI Mini 2, we've covered the hardware and the software, and now you're ready to go out and enjoy flying your brand new drone. This has been the beginner's guide for the DJI Mini 2, and even if you're an experienced pilot, I hope you've learned something new watching this video. As mentioned, over 99.7% of you aren't subscribed to my channel, and if you like things drone related and you're not, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and made sure the notification bell was on so you didn't miss any of my other videos. Thank you so much for watching.